Hello people! What I'm going to try to do today is record all the scenery and outside buildings of the general area of Bessemer and Ironwood. The kind of things we used to remember as kids and trying for a nostalgic trip through the past. The first area we're going to visit is the old farmhouse. This is starting from the road and walking in. This shed is a house that Fred built later on. Of course, we didn't have this while we were here as children. And these woods have grown up. This used to be all cleared land. My father had this bulldozed of all the brush, and it's regrown. He did it to plant some garden, and he had some cows and horses. One horse, and I think at the most we ever had was perhaps 5 cow-type animals. These spruce trees I grew from seeds, and that was some 40 years ago. So you can see they've advanced in height. My Uncle Oiva carried some of these seedlings that I got, I think, through either the 4-H or the high school, or the grade school, and they grew very well. Here's one more of the same variety, and we also had an oak tree here. One of the very few oaks that are still around here, and this was a very young sapling when we were here as children. Now Fred put this addition onto the old farmhouse, and now he's tearing it down because the lumber is still good, and I think he wants to use it for another purpose. This was not part of the original house. And the original house, of course, is built of logs. Now we're inside the addition, walking toward what used to be the living room. We have some slides of this area where people would come to visit us, and of course we didn't have this stove, and the furnishings were all totally different. But in here was our parents' bedroom and a stove. Of course, now it's a catch-all. And if we go through this room, we go into the main room of the house, which was the kitchen. And this is the old chimney, which didn't go down to the floor. And what that caused to happen was that the floor began to sag there because this weight of this chimney was not supported all the way down to the ground. So the house began to sag after 40 or 50 years. This was the bathroom eventually, and it was the porch at one time, and beyond that door is the new porch. So and I believe this room was added on by Fred later, and of course this was converted to the bathing area. Now we're going up the stairs, and this is the chimney that we always saw coming up the ladder at that time. These stairs were put in by Fred later. And then these rooms never had doors on them, and they still don't. We had cloth curtains on both areas. And let's see if I can back up to the window so we can see, get the extent of the room. Here's the corner of the room, and as we swing around we can see the other room, and this room is not much bigger, they're about equal size. But as we scan this bed frame, you can see there's only a couple inches left on that side, and on this side there's maybe a foot and a half. So these rooms were extremely small. And here's our closet area. As you can see, that's also very small for 3 kids growing up and 2 adults, although there was a closet downstairs for our parents. And of course this room is much the same, maybe a little longer, but this paneling was added later. It was all Solitex before. And here we can see some of the logs actually in this area we used to call chinking, kept the wind from blowing in, even though it didn't do a good job because it would shrink and then the cracks would reappear. So it was almost an annual job to keep insulating the log areas and re-chinking so that the wind wouldn't blow down. And of course, oops, back outside again, and thought to do a little panorama here. This is the road to our Uncle Uno's and Uncle Towno's 40s, directly east from this 40. This little structure on the left was the sauna that was down by the creek at one time. And the barn, the 2 barns, the cow barn and the hay barn, were in this place directly ahead of us. They have since rotted away and been recycled. And this is the path down to the creek, which as kids we used to run down maybe 100 times a day. I won't go down there now, but this is one of the areas where I used to go in with my little hatchet and chop all the brush branches down so we could have a nice path down there. And of course now it's becoming completely overgrown. And here's a closer view of the oak tree. We used to have apple trees down in here also, but I don't see too many of them. This is one right here, but it's getting pretty old and beat up. Now we're at the back at the corner, and here's where we used to ski a little bit. We would build a ski jumping hill. Had a scaffold about 6-7 feet high, and then we'd run down toward the creek on our skis and jump about 10-12 feet. And here's where we used to practice our batting. We'd pick up gravel rocks and hit them down toward the creek. And if we got them over the electric wires, it was a home run, and a line sharps drive into the creek was a double, and so on and so forth. It was a lot of fun. We spent many hours here beating the tar out of maple saplings that we would cut to bat length. So it was very inexpensive and a lot of fun, a lot of physical activity. This area is the old Borkman place, which was a log cabin which recently got torn down, and they had hopes of restoring it in some metropolitan area as an example of a log cabin, but I don't think that ever really got brought to fruition. They're still waiting to finish that off. Now the creek runs somewhere back there and eventually connects up with the 40 across from Sharon's mother, Mickey Blomberg's 40. So it's one more 40 past this one and you'll be at Mickey Blomberg's. Or Clara as her proper name is. But we can see this is where the bear ran through the barbed wire fence. It scared us both, Fred and I, as we were batting rocks toward the creek, and we said, "What's that black thing coming out of the field?" And we said, "Maybe it's a dog." And then we saw, nope, that's a big black bear coming. He came running straight at us. We thought he was after us, but actually he was being chased by our dog, which came out right after the bear, and the bear just kept running and never did stop for the fence. It just made a big screeching sound and was gone. The fence made the screeching sound, that is. This area in front of us we used to call Hugo Solo's Hill, and it always seemed to be a large hill to us children, but now, as you can see, it's not very large, and we used to sled on the other side of it. We're now at the main intersection of Bessemer, Michigan, and we're on the high school lawn, and this is the renovation they went through. Of course, they built a handicap ramp, and I actually attended this school for 2 or 3 months when I was a teenager. And of course, my brother-in-law, Dave Broch, I believe, possibly graduated from here, but we'll have to check with him to make sure. Then right across the street from the high school was the courthouse. And I didn't have any dealings in this structure during my high school days, but I suppose if I grew up in these present times, I would have. We are approximately 4 miles from the farmsteads of Tyke and Eugene and Fred and Clara Blomberg. So this is the metropolitan area of Bessemer, Michigan, about 2,500 people. Now right across from the courthouse, of course this is a new addition they put on it, is Massey Field. There's a band shell. This is the main stands of the baseball field, and it used to have a roofing shelter type thing covering this entire area here, but a 80-mile-an-hour wind lifted it up and threw it approximately where I'm standing now, and they never did rebuild it. Now this is the athletic field proper where the Bessemer High School football team plays, and this is the baseball field, and this is also where the fireworks display is given each year on the 4th of July. And if you notice, this bluff is the same one that we climb up during the reunions. And gee, I don't know, I can just about see Eugene up there right now. Maybe not. And right below it, in between the field and the bluff, is the city park where we hold the reunions. We're now down at the park where we're going to just pan around and so we can see the surrounding park area. There's a little pond, little racetrack car, and then several houses, and of course this is the bluff again from a different angle. And I think we have some slides of somebody up there. And here's the larger pond. And here's the tennis courts. And if you're very sharp-eyed, you can see the volleyball net where we had some games a couple of years ago, and some people playing tennis. Now here's a shot of the park pavilion from a different angle where you can see the amount of seating that's possible, and the barbecue pits, and the antique engine is behind these trees. So it's quite a pleasant place. Now we're at quite an interesting corner. Has a lot of history and a lot of activities going on. Right below this sign is Powder Mill Creek, which runs up to the ski hills, and we used to do a little fishing here when we were much younger. Then also, this is the site of the Cannons retreat that they had a fire and burned most of it to the ground. So this used to be the old North Bessemer clubhouse, and it was built of logs and semi-restored by Towno and Joe Cannon. And this is the hill that goes up to the ski hills. And this is the what used to be called Molessa Park, which I'm not even sure it's called a park anymore. It's so overgrown. And if you recall on the Art Blomberg movie film, this was the area that was flooded so badly. And right beyond this bridge we're coming to is the house that was supposedly flooded so many times over the years. And up this hill, we used to call this hill the Berg Hill, and we would go sledding down here, which was another extremely steep hill, at least in the minds of us kids. But of course now it's still a fair hill, but it's not nearly as steep as we had imagined. And I'll walk up to the river and discuss that. Now we're on the bridge, and that's the house that's supposedly flooded. What I remember most about this little expanse of Black River is this is where I gained an enormous amount of confidence in swimming. As even a pre-teen, probably 10 years old or so, I swam across this expanse, much to the surprise of all my companions, who were oohing and awing that I could get across this stretch of perhaps 60 or 70 feet. This bridge, of course, is fairly new, within the last decade. And one of the interesting things about this side of the bridge, it goes to the other bridge across Black River, and this is where we Jerry Hansen, Fred, and I canoed down buck naked on logs. And we also, there's a sucker hole which we fished on about halfway in between the two bridges. So, and there's of course Powder Mill Creek. You can see the bubbles coming into to Black River from the creek. So this place has quite a few memories. And then up the river a little ways is the gravel pit, which used to wash gravel and change Black River into bright orange river, as the mud from the gravel would be washed into the river. I doubt if they allow them to do that anymore. And the old bridge, the previous bridge to this one, used to wash out quite often. And further down this, the northern direction of the Black River, all the falls, Potawatomi and Rainbow Falls, and the rest of the falls on toward Black River Harbor is along this stretch. We've now moved up the road a little ways. Of course, down this road, there's the Rundles and the Rooney's old place. And then there's Joe Hedberg's small acreage building. Then we have down this way, as we have a car coming, we of course have the vista of the ski hill, the ski flying hill, Copper Peak, and down the No Outlet Road is Clara Bomberg's place, about 3/4 of a mile down there. We have the old North Bessemer School, which had the 2nd and 3rd grades, which I went to, and I had probably had the trauma of my life as we moved from Chicago when I was 7, and we found out that the children in the 2nd grade here were already writing in cursive instead of just printing. So I was completely lost when it came to cursive writing. And inside here, I believe, is where Tyke keeps his boat. This roof I helped put on, geez, so many years ago. I can't even recall how many years ago it was, but it was a long time, and I don't think I'd want to go up that steep a roof anymore. And it was fun doing it with my uncles. I believe Towno was still alive then and helping us. And of course the schoolhouse is in much worse shape. We used to hold 4-H meetings here, and I think some other meetings too, but it was this 1 acre, it's on 1 acre of ground, and my grandfather, Andrew Hedberg, donated it to the school, I believe, or sold it, I'm not sure. But it has an interesting history also. I can sneak a peek through the schoolhouse and the storage shed where they used to house the school buses, and we can see some of the Hedberg farm buildings. There's the main cow barn. There's the kind of tool and machinery shed, and a little extra machinery shed, and some old trucks, and that's an old chicken coop back there, and I believe it housed some woodworking tools. And in back here is, I believe, where the golf course was going to go, which is just beginning construction now. And then up the road, Of course, it's the old sardine place that's been redone and remodeled. I'm not sure we can see it from here behind those trees. Toonie Sandine, and I believe it was Eddie Sandine. I believe Eddie may live down the road from us right now in a southerly direction down here and behind all this overgrowth. This used to be just a plain old hay field with a hay barn on it, and it's all been completely overgrown. We have now arrived at the farmhouse where Tyke and Eugene, I hope, are in behind the door. But before we go in, we'll take a pan around and look at the apple trees and Eugene's tremendous golf course. I think that'll be great competition for the one going up in the Hauta's place. The garages, the old garages are still standing. The pump house, the horseshoe pits, the peanut gallery seats, the old sauna, and if you have a good imagination you can see where the old blacksmith shop was right there. And you got to see the fields and the old hay loader, which is still operational, and I saw Tyke and Eugene making hay this year, 1996, as we came up earlier in the summer. This is the old barn, and without the cows in it to keep it heated, I think there are some cracks occurring in the foundation as the time is passing now for a time that once was. I recall Telno shooting some swallows because they were getting pesty in here, but the pellet gun he was using was a little bit too strong, and I think he put some holes in the roof. And here's Tyke's boat. I don't know if he's gone out too much with it. It sure looks like it'd be fun. I've been out on it once or twice, I think. There's the old rock pile. I recall one summer we were driving golf balls from the gas pump here out toward that tree, and I think only a couple of people reached the tree in all those drives. And here's one of Upper Michigan's greatest resource, rocks. Of course, if they contain iron and copper, they're probably a little bit more valuable. Well, let's go inside and see if Tyke and Eugene are in. Oh, oops, wow, what was that? I hear a dog. Oh, dog. Uh-oh, they're already eating. What the heck is this? I got some pasties out in the car for you guys.
What's that red light?
That red light means it's on. Huh?
I wasn't one to go out talking with Maggie was standing up against the door.
Who went fishing with you?
Too rough on a lake nowadays.
Yeah.
3-4 days.
Well, tell me about the time you caught 11 fish. Who was with you?
John Newman and Joe Cannon.
Oh, that's why you gave him the fish, huh? Caught 11? Which one did you throw back? A big Cisco?
I told them not to throw one back, but they threw it back. The last one got in.
How many bales of hay did you get this year?
We didn't
1433.
How much?
1433 bales. And that was rough making it.
I was watching you. I said, I should go help. And then I says, no.
Mickey got stuck with the truck here in there. He picked the places where he figured he'd get through, but he couldn't get through all the places.
Who was that?
Mickey
Mickey Rooney?
He picked it up.
So did he pay you for it?
Yeah.
$2 a bale. You know, up in
40 cents a bale.
oh, in Minnesota, it's $3 a bale after it's baled.
It's been last 50 years when we've made hay for it. It's been 40
You wanna
cents
go
a bale.
outside? Okay.
But see, always only when anything busted, we only fix them, and he was always helping make the hay. So we were ahead on that.
He's on a chain gang now.
What's her name?
Maggie,
Maggie.
what's your foot cut on that?
She looks a lot like our dog Pupper, except Pupper was all red. Oh,
You don't want to get that foot off, eh? Let's hear you go like a bear. Come on. Say, boy, 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 boy. Come on. Come on, let's go. Yeah. You're gonna break your camera.
that'll be neat. That'll be neat. Oh, nice barn. Little dog. Hay wagon going backwards.
Now that's the trick.
Putting the hay back in the field. Who's telling them that?
Good catch.
That is funny.
Straight. Watch this. Magic.
Are you recording this?
Yeah. Okay, get ready. It's gonna be at the end there. Is that about it? Forgot. You want the music on it, don't you?
Yeah, put a little farming music.
Okay. Good farming music.
What tape we got in there?
Your tape, didn't you? You better check. Stop it and I'll stop this one.
Cows in the barn.
Oh, I shut this off now?
It doesn't matter.
You want to put that on it?
Yeah.
Bessemer, Michigan, taken from the first bluff.
There's the Little League field. Down below the main field.
It's a turnaround jump shot, it's everybody jump starts. Every generation pulls a hero on the pop charts. Medicine is magical, and magical is art. The boy in the bubble, the baby with the battling heart. These are days, lasers in the jungle, lasers in the jungle somewhere.
This is great I won't have to do this tomorrow. A lot of the panning of the scenery.
I don't think you want any more of this.
I think
It's just the kids.
John would like to see that. He got his pheasant. Where'd you get that pheasant at?
Marinette.
Marinette. Okay.
On there.
Look at that old car.
Show this to somebody and say, did you ever think of somebody running a 65 classic into a racehorse?
No. Like a muddy track. Nothing about it. This fits in with the upper
What kind of
Peninsula.
car is that? The Chevy?
Like a Buick. I don't know.
There's Gene. You want to talk in there? You can.
So is this at the Gilgit County Fair?
Yeah.
This is the amusement park. Why does it have DP on it? Eddie and Tyke.
Eddie doesn't even look that old, really.
No.
That's a long time ago. This is 30 years.
Ooh, who's that?
Susie.
Is it Susie?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You mentioned
Tell
that.
by her eyes.
Mentioned that the time before. Yep, that does look like Susie. And here's Tyke's gold mine. Mining for gold. Oh, there's some green gold coming out now. And the cows are trying to brush the flies off of Tyke's hat.
Milking the bull. This is the only way to do that.
This is the Chicago way. Good lighting.
Gene smelling.
Now I should go into their barn and video its present condition.
There's hardly any room to video anything.
No. It'd have to be a bright day because it's pretty dark and gloomy. Tell my kids how wild those cats became in that barn.
Oh yeah.
As soon as a stranger would come in, they'd all disappear.
Too bad they didn't keep farming because it's fun to go in there.
We're now in the yard of Fred's place, and we hear a little whining and barking in the background. Yeah, we got a couple of dogs here. There's Molly. This is the new husky of Fred's. And I believe this one is Ewok. Oops. Then we have, going over to Fred's Oh, bird feeder. This here's sunflowers and raspberries. The old garden sign. And here we go into a playground area. Some of the greenhouses. Tractors. Greenhouse is more back there. The little one there. The old pump house for the old barn. Look like an ice house there. I don't know what that is. And there's the woods way back there. Some vehicles. And I'm irritating Fred by narrating too much. We're now in Bessemer at Dick and Karen Blomberg's on Peck Street in Bessemer. And I believe it's 304. So it's this house right here. Now we're driving back to Fred's and Clara's place, and this is a view of Fred's place, viewing it from the east, coming from Bessemer. So we're looking at the woods across the road, and down this road is Tyke and Eugene's a half mile down the road. And this is Sandine's road, and this is the old Salmi farmstead. And as you can see, it's very rural and very rustic. And down, way down in that area, 1 mile down there, is the old farmstead where we grew up. Fred, Judy, and myself, and our two parents in that little farmhouse that we taped earlier. We're now looking at Tyke and Eugene's pasture, where they used to let the cows out to stay for the day in the summer. And if we zoom in on this hill right here, this used to be our ski hill. And we would build a scaffold, and I believe it was Ronnie Blumberg and Fred and myself. I think I was a little bit young at the time, so I didn't do too much. But and I don't recall how big the scaffold was, but it was very huge in my eyes. And we had a record of 40 feet, a 40-foot ski jump. And I think it was Ronnie Blumberg that did get that record. And back in the trees here is where Tyke makes his maple syrup. So somewhere back there, I think, is where he hauls his shack, and he melts the sap down to finally become syrup. And it's getting overgrown now, but not too badly. The cows really beat the vegetation down to practically nothing. Then if we pan down toward the north, down this road is where Clara lives. So that's where we'll be next. We're now at Clara's place, and doesn't appear to be anybody home. And as you recall, on our home movies we had a panning of this area, so there'll be a comparison between that time and this, and also the quality of the movie projection and the video. Much different. Here's where our campers used to be stored there. And there's our satellite dish, and down this area is the creek, which we might take a walk down there and see what's going on. It's a lot of jiggling and jaggling. There's Denny's sighting in reel, where they sight in their guns and fire it down into this area here. They put their targets up there for sighting their guns in, and beyond that bush is the little creek. The creek runs down in this area, and some ducks come down and on there sometimes, but it's mostly canary grass, swamp grass. And we have the old house where Pam painted a skunk on the door. And then we have the old homestead. I'll go knock now, see if anybody's home. We're now in Hurley, Wisconsin, looking at Denny Blomberg's house. And let's see what the address is here. It's Cary Road in Odana. And we'll kind of pan around here, looking at vehicles and various other things we got going. There's the road into Hurley. Let's see if we can't walk through here and get a look at what's going. And right up ahead is the old pontoon boat that we've been hearing so much about from various people. There's Denny's garage, and I hear somebody coming out.
Hello.
Hello.
Come on in.
Why?
I didn't know anybody was out here.
Where's your mother-in-law?
My mother-in-law, she should be home.
No, she's not home.
She's not.
Uh-uh.
Maybe she's in the tub.
Where are you leveling stuff off? You all level it off already? This is your project? There's Denny's deer tree. Denny's deck and Mary Ann's. And we'll go in the door.
Oh,
We don't know what Mary Ann's doing, but
what a mess.
maybe we'll wait for her.
Oh, look.
Are you watching the ball game?
Who are we watching the ball game?
Oh, you're not even interested.
They will be watching it.
Who's they?
Oh, Denny and Mark later.
Where are they?
They're gone up to Moose Lake.
Oh, Moose Lake.
Come on in. Yeah.
I'm on my way home.
On your way home, when did you come in?
Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon. Where you been?
I've been messing with Fred's home movies.
Oh.
And we did that for
Don't take pictures of
Hey.
this messy house.
too late.
Too late.
No,
Shut
but-
it off. Shut it off.
Nobody can see.
Oh,
Anyway.
nobody can see. My God. Everything's in a mess.
Where's your new kitchen?
Oh, everything's white. See?
White.
White.
The recorder can't do it. It's too white. It's too bright.
It's too white.
Splash some paint on the walls.
Splash some paint on the walls. See, everything's white. And the floor is all dirty. I didn't
Well, I
get a
won't
chance.
take a picture of the floor. I don't
Well,
think it would
see, you
come.
put a new linoleum in. Instead of the green and white, the white does look better.
I can do. Oh, yes, I can. There we go.
See, and you even got the floor.
That's what we'll end with, a picture of the floor.
Yeah, and all the dirt on the floor.
Oh, you can't see any. Looks clean.